In this tutorial, I'll be going over prompt matrix. Now, what prompt matrix is an excellent way to see how individual words affect your actual image. So the easiest way to demonstrate this is with an example. So go down to script and then click on prompt matrix. And now I want to see what our robot over here looks like with different clothing items. So for example, I want to see what he looks like with a red cape or a beanie hat. So to do this, all I need to do is put in the vertical bar, type in red cape, and then do another vertical bar, and then type in beanie hat, and then click generate. Now that the images have been generated, you can clearly see 4 different images, and each one of them is different. So the first image has no red cape and no beanie hat. The second one has only a red cape. The third one a beanie hat. And the fourth one has both the beanie hat and the red cape. So straight away, you can see how powerful this is for different experimentations and seeing how individual words affect your final image. And you can also see how the prompt was actually made. So right now we have our standard prompt. And then looking at the next image, we have the same prompt, but this time Stable Diffusion added on the red cape word. The third one, we had the beanie hat word. And the fourth one, we had the red cape and beanie hat word added on. Now for our next example, I'm just going to change the actual words that we're using. So I'm going to change it to green and rusting. Now, so far, if we generate as is, Stable Diffusion will add these words at the end of the prompt. So just how it did with the red cape and beanie hat. But let's say, for example, I want it at the start of the prompt. So I want it to read green sci-fi robot or rusting sci-fi robot. To do this, I just click over here, put variable parts at the start of the prompt, and then click generate. Now Stable Diffusion has generated the 4 images like we've expected, but now if you actually look at the prompts, the words are actually added to the beginning. So now we have green sci-fi robot, rusting sci-fi robot, and green rusting sci-fi robot all at the beginning of the prompt. And so that's the basics of using prompt matrix, but there's a few additional parameters that you should be aware of. The first one is use different seed for each picture. So if I click on this and now generate, now that's been generated, if you actually look at all the seed values, you should see that each individual image has a different seed value. And so this is a useful option if you want to ensure that each image that you produce looks different from one another. The next option I want to show you is the select prompt, positive or negative. So far we have it at the positive prompt. And now if I want to use it in the negative prompt, all I need to do is click on here and then actually paste in the prompts that I was using into the actual negative prompt box, and it will work now with the negative prompt box. Another thing I want to show you is the select joining character. So far we have it set to comma, and so that's why every time we generate an image, Stable Diffusion will add extra comma after our words that we've added. But if I collect space and then generate, now you should be able to see that the extra words that we've added in now don't have a comma after them. So we have green without no comma, rusting without no comma, green and rusting without no comma after it. And so this can be useful for specific situations where actually adding a comma or space can actually affect the meaning of the word. Now the final thing I want to show you is grid margins. So far we have it set to 0 and there's no spaces between the image. But if I take the slider and take it to a higher value and then generate, you should now be able to see that Stable Diffusion has now added extra grid margins in between our image. And so that's all for the basics of prompt matrix.